Two people are dead after being shot at a local park. What you need to know. And a Burleson County deputy recovering after being shot in the face during a standoff. The latest on his condition. Two people are dead this morning after being shot at Henderson Park in Bryan. Thanks for joining us. I'm Paige Ellenberger. Police responding to the park around 9 last night and found two people with gunshot wounds. Bryan police say they're still trying to notify the next of kin. No information is known about the suspect at this time. The investigation is still ongoing. The Burleson County deputy shot while trying to serve a warrant is now recovering from surgery. John Pollock posting this photo to Facebook saying, "By God's grace and mercy, I'm still here. My family and I are overwhelmed at the outpouring of love and support. We love you all." The shooting led to a standoff at a Burleson County home. Police say James Smith barricaded himself for hours, but when he finally came out of his house, he opened fire, hitting a DPS trooper.
So they thought he was going to surrender at 3 a.m. And he ended up shooting one of our troopers, and they returned fire, ultimately killing him on scene.
The Texas Rangers are leading the investigation. Meanwhile, a Texas A&M cybersecurity camp held its first all-female class. The Computing Academy gives students the experience and skills to set them apart in the workforce. They learn all things cybersecurity, along with foreign languages and leadership skills. This summer camp makes the world of cybersecurity enjoyable. So when Professor John Romero witnessed a need for the cybersecurity workforce, he jumped into action.
We need to teach these students an offense and a defense of cybersecurity so that they can protect our nation and protect our values here in the United States. So yes, this program is perfect for that.
Romero has sparked a light in his campers to think outside of the box for future career opportunities. All right, it's Thursday, and let's get a check on our weather with meteorologist Josh Johns.
Yeah, we're going to be watching for the chance of a stray shower or thunderstorm later on this afternoon. Although right now things are dry. You can see on the Extraco Eagle Eye and Bryan College Station some partly cloudy skies at this time. Temperatures at 84, but look at that dew point at 77. That is tropical air in place, so already it feels like it's 95 degrees. In some cases, it already feels like 100. Navasota, Brenham, Beedice, Massillville, you're feeling like the Century Market this time. And we're all going to feel like 100 to 105 later on this afternoon. Some partly cloudy skies, still showing you that cloud cover trying to stream through. We did have some pretty heavy rain over the last 24 hours, though, some of our northern counties. Now, I think today we'll have a lesser chance of rain, but still, we'll have that onshore flow, so it'll be enough that we could squeeze out maybe one or two stray showers or thunderstorms. The energy, though, it's all to our north, so our rain chances should be going down compared to where we were the last few days. Future Track kind of paints this possibility out as we go through the day. Again, a partly cloudy skies with a pop-up shower or thunderstorm possible. The further east you are, the better off your chance of that. Then we get into the morning hours. We'll start off with cloud cover, and in the afternoon, we'll see the potential for a pop-up shower and thunderstorm again. Only about a 20% chance of rain coming up for your Friday. And this is the start of a drier stretch of weather here in central Texas and the Brazos Valley, with high pressure starting to build back in. That's going to shoot all the showers and thunderstorms around us, at least until we get towards the end of the week. As high pressure retreats to the back, that'll bring up some more rain chances coming into the end of next week. Today's highs, though, get into the mid-90s, 95, 94 degrees. Normally should be around 97 this time of year, and our record was 105 back in 1893. As you look at that 10-day forecast, we'll call for 94 officially, a 30% chance of rain, 95 for your Friday. South winds at 15 miles per hour. Southeast winds build in Saturday into Sunday. That'll push us up into the upper 90s. By the time we head into the end of next week, though, we go from 98 down towards 96 to 95 as some more rain chances work in.
The Taliban are celebrating Afghanistan's Independence Day by declaring they have beaten the United States. However, challenges to their rule have begun to emerge, including ATMs being out of cash and worries about food prices rising. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden says U.S. forces will stay in Afghanistan until all Americans are out. The president said he hopes to complete the mission by the August 31st deadline, but said troops will stay as long as it takes.
If you work in a nursing home and serve people on Medicare or Medicaid, you will also be required to get vaccinated. More than 130,000 residents in nursing homes have sadly, over the period of this virus, passed away.
President Biden also taking action to help protect people against the raging Delta variant. Biden said nursing homes will have to make sure their staff is vaccinated against the coronavirus. If they don't, the facility could lose its funding. The move marks the first time President Biden has threatened to withhold federal funds over vaccinations. This could affect more than 15,000 nursing homes, which employ about 1.3 million people. According to the CDC, about 40% of those workers are not vaccinated. Biden is also fighting back against governors trying to block schools from requiring students to wear masks during the pandemic. The president directed the Education Department to use all legal authority to take action. Biden said he believes children are being used by some political leaders.
Some politicians are trying to turn public safety measures, that is, children wearing masks in school, into political disputes for their own political gain. Some are even trying to take power away from local educators by banning masks in school. They're setting a dangerous tone.
Some governors threatened to withhold teacher pay if they required kids to wear masks. The president said emergency funding in the American Rescue Plan could pay for those salaries if necessary.
The Taliban held its first press conference since seizing the country on Sunday, an effort to rewrite the narrative of their brutal medieval rule in the 90s. Sitting at the media center in Kabul, where the government media chief who was recently killed by the Taliban worked, Taliban spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid promised a peaceful and inclusive Afghanistan, with women holding rights under Islamic law and those who worked with the U.S. and other foreign countries forgiven. But Newsy has learned some Taliban fighters are trying to control the spread of information, asking Afghans for their cell phones, scanning their apps and conversations. People in Kabul have been deleting their photos, text messages, and social media accounts, fearing retribution for their American connections. Others, including women in the Afghan government, are in hiding or have gone completely dark. This policing of communication comes with reports of revenge killings and girls forced into marriage. An Afghan mother saying militants killed her sons and forced her daughters-in-law to marry fighters. Women began protesting on the streets of Kabul Tuesday, not wanting to go back to rape, stoning, and burns. When it comes to theft, the Taliban's head of intelligence for Kabul says looters are being arrested. But a prominent businessman says a man forcibly drove his armored car. At Hamid Karzai International Airport, where Afghans have swarmed in a desperate attempt to flee the country, U.S. officials say the Taliban has refrained from aggression.
We have had no hostile interactions, no attack, and no threat by the Taliban.
Jets are arriving and departing, but a fear among Afghans holds of what happens when U.S. troops leave. An interpreter telling us he has a ticket to board a military flight, but couldn't break through a crowd at the airport. His children scared and confused as he texted Newsy, "May God help us."
Many people suffer pregnancy loss, then immediately get back to work. A new bill wants to change that.
It's still hard. I'll see a baby and I'm like, I get a little bummed, or I see a pregnant woman, I get a little bummed.
Emma Ems was happy to break the news of her first pregnancy, but about 8 weeks in, she found out she'd miscarried and would need medication or surgery.
I still had the what if, like what if me running on the treadmill did it, or me rowing or doing burpees, or like because I work out, I'm just like, did I do something wrong?
Am I working too hard? Is it my focus? I waited until so late in life to try to have children.
Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois asked herself similar questions as she dealt with the grief of a miscarriage and unsuccessful attempts at in vitro fertilization.
It's absolutely a grief process like any other, but oftentimes when IVF doesn't work, or if it works and then you miscarry, a lot of times it's a silent grief.
Mental health professionals say that grief is shared by some would-be adoptive parents too.
You can go through 9 months with a potential birth mother, and she can change her mind after she gives birth or before she gives birth.
Both Ems and Duckworth share the common experience of the push to get back to work.
So I had to get my medication because we decided to go that route and time it when taking it when I was working remotely, so I could be as comfortable as I possibly could and be working still.
I had control over my, somewhat over my schedule, but I still had to go back to work. And I felt like adrift.
Senator Tammy Duckworth, along with Representative Ayanna Pressley of Boston, say that's why they're introducing support through loss, legislation that provides 3 days of paid leave after a miscarriage, unsuccessful IVF, or failed adoption. The legislation also includes $45 million for research and a CDC initiative aimed at removing the stigma. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists says early pregnancy loss occurs in about 10% of known pregnancies. The CDC says 24,000 pregnancies are affected by stillbirth each year, and the chances for a live birth after the first complete cycle of IVF is about 46%, according to researchers.
Much like 30 years ago when we first started talking openly about breast cancer, we need to be openly talking about failed pregnancies.
M says removing the stigma is why she's talking about it today.
I was pretty vocal about it because that's how I could cope with it. Because I felt like me talking more about it would make it more normal and okay.
A technology in development could help prevent drunk driving deaths. The infrastructure bill being considered by the federal government could mean the technology is put in every car.
The DADS technology is novel technology, completely different than the conventional breathalyzer that everyone is familiar with.
The Driver Alcohol Detection System for Safety, or DADS for short, is a new type of detection system.
This technology is intended to be working in the background, installed in the vehicle at the time the vehicle is made.
Robert Strausberger is with the Automotive Coalition for Traffic Safety that provided this video. He oversees the development of this tech.
By just breathing naturally or by touching the steering wheel or the starter button, the system would measure your blood alcohol concentration.
If your blood alcohol concentration was over a certain threshold, the car would either give a warning, not start, or not change gears.
This is very high-risk research.
And after 20 years of helping develop this technology, he says more work still needs to be done.
Additional research is needed.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says about 28 people in the U.S. die each day in drunk driving crashes. In 2019, more than 10,000 people lost their lives.
Prior to, moving the vehicle, I can see that saving a lot of our young kids, and those one-time offenders.
Dr. Tricia Hudson-Matthew is a substance abuse expert and sees how technologies like DADS or other alcohol detection devices that can monitor a number of telling factors can help.
Looking at other ways of picking up, detecting behavioral patterns in the car, which will be really interesting.
These new technologies could be in every car manufactured in just a few years.
The bill, as amended, is passed.
The Senate recently passed a bipartisan $1 trillion infrastructure bill that includes language on automobile safety.
It's multi-sectoral, and by that I mean it deals with a number of infrastructure sectors at once in a sort of holistic way. That is in contrast to what the Congress normally does.
Rick Geddes is an infrastructure policy expert.
What we have is a mandate from the Senate for the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration to develop the technology and come up and to look at the technologies that are out there and to develop a standard within 3 years, okay? So that new cars would have to have some standard which is to be determined.
Economist Alan Ginn says something like this does come at a cost.
It's been estimated that this infrastructure package then is going to add about $250 billion to the federal debt over a 10-year period.
So who will pay for this new technology in every car? Strausberger says while they don't have an exact cost just yet, it will be up to the manufacturers.
It will be their decision what to charge, how to charge it.
Dad's continues to develop the tech to quantify the amount of alcohol in a driver's blood.
And our quantification will be linkable to the gold standard, which is a hospital blood draw. What is really rewarding is, after being involved in this program for so long, I can see the finish line, and that is really great.
I'm Chloe Nordquist reporting. More and more places across the country now require proof of COVID-19 vaccination. That means having your vaccination card handy at all times. After getting your first dose, you're given a vaccination card with all the information about which vaccine you were given, along with where and when you got the shot. So what happens if you lose that card or don't have a copy? The CDC says to get in touch with your vaccine provider to access your vaccination record. Places like CVS say a new card can be printed, while others like Walmart now provide a digital vaccine record. You can also contact your state health department's immunization information system. The CDC says you can also take a picture of your card as a backup copy. The agency says if you enrolled in programs like vSafe or VaxText after your first vaccine dose, you can also access your vaccination information using those tools online.
Well, we're going to be talking about a hot and humid day across the Brazos Valley later on today. Mid-90s on the way. Normally should be at 97 this time of year. We'll call for a high of around 94, 95 degrees as we head into the afternoon. Keep in mind that humidity's around. It's going to be feeling like 105. 95 tomorrow, 95 on Saturday. And as you look at the rest of that 10-day forecast, we'll climb up towards 98 Tuesday and Wednesday before another system of rain tries to work back in by the end of the week. And that could knock us down into the mid-90s.
It seems to be everywhere these days. Wildfire smoke.
We oftentimes try to differentiate wildfire smoke particulate matter from the particulate matter that can be in other types of air pollution.
We're learning that, like other types of air pollution, wildfire smoke has thousands of different individual chemicals, but experts are using particulate matter to measure the smoke that's in the air.
It's an easy way for us to try to measure wildfire smoke. Rather than trying to measure all the individual chemicals, we can get an idea about how much smoke there is by measuring that one type. So particulate matter is just one constituent or one type of chemical in wildfire smoke.
PM 2.5 up to 10 can usually be filtered through the body's natural defense system, but particles less than 2.5 are considered hazardous.
Those particles are the ones that are going to penetrate deep into the lungs and cause us problems. They can cause things like inflammation.
Face masks became a pandemic staple, but with exceptionally bad air quality, some face masks may actually protect your respiratory system from the fine particles.
I am flipping some donut bananas.
And you sew these too, right?
Yep.
Helping people and animals at the same time. Possibilities is a dog treat bakery in Kansas City. The company gives those in the disability community a chance to work, learn, and grow while making the signature dog treats. They are involved in every step of the process, from rolling, flipping, and baking the dough. They also sew and make dog bandanas and dog toys, creating fun items for the city's canine friends.
The community that loves their pets are really compassionate people, and so that compassion transfers to our people, and so it's just been a win-win on both sides.
Dog and cat toys, we have blankets, washcloths, anything that, necessity-wise for a puppy.
A young girl is showing the world what it means to be Buffalo strong. While many 6-year-olds ask for the newest gadget for their birthday, Peyton decided to donate to her local animal shelter instead.
It is super endearing that Peyton chose us to help us and the animals, and we really can't thank her enough. I mean, this is pretty great.
Looking ahead to Peyton's next birthday, she says she plans to hold a donation drive for homeless people.